Hey guys, it's me, 80s from 4. Today, guys, we're talking to you guys about the UEFA Europa League. Now, obviously, the Europa League, there's been some interesting developments. Obviously, there's one game that in particular we already know what happened. RB Leipzig have advanced from default. I believe I don't need to explain that. I even did a video on that situation, so you guys can check it out. And so you know what's going on in the political world right now with Russia and Ukraine, and I don't want to get too much into that. So there's a video for there for your enjoyment. Now, then there's another match. We got Barca versus Galatasaray. Of course, you guys know I'm a Barca fan. Because I'm a Barca fan and everything, I will do a separate video for that, coming up on this coming Wednesday. So, as of today, I'm recording on a Friday and very late at night. So, this should be out or late Friday night and slash Saturday morning for you guys. Okay, so without further ado, let's go and discuss about the other 6 matches. Okay, so let's start with the very first one, which is Porto versus Lyon. Now, what's interesting, guys, is that this game is actually going to take place on March 9th, not on March 10th. Okay, it's going to take place the early kickoff, 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And it'll be very fascinating to see how this one pans out because I think for me, guys, it's a very good match to watch. I think both teams have some quality players on their side. You look at Porto, for instance, you have Taremi, it comes to mind. Obviously you also have, their new signing, Estacio as well, very good signing indeed. Then you also have, Ruben Semedo, Sansu, Pepe, Wendell, João Mario, Wenderson, Fabio Vera, Contessao. It's a very good team, and I think this Porto team is a team that you cannot rival upon. You got to give credit to what Sergio Contessao has been doing with this team. Now, as for Lyon, they still have some quality players. I think Peter Bosch has done a decent job with this team. You have Anthony Lopez, Jerome Boateng, Enrique, and Domble, Mendes, Paqueta, Cacaret, Moussa Dembele, Ikambi, Houssem Aouar. Now, for me, the thing about this fixture that's really interesting is that I'm keen to see how Lyon's defense can do. Because for me, guys, that defense for me is very shaky. It's very vulnerable. And I'll be honest with you guys, Boateng for me is not the Boateng that he once used to be. He's on the end or towards the end of his career. Denier for me has been very, very inconsistent, not very good center back. And I just think for me, Porto's defense, not Porto, Lyon's defense, I think will be really exploited. And I think Porto can score a lot of goals. And even though I know Porto did lose Luis Diaz, who obviously is a big, big loss for them, I still believe they should be able to prevail on this one. And I do think Porto will beat Lyon, guys. I just don't think this Lyon team have been that amazing. And even though they did top their group and over Rangers, I still don't really think this Lyon team is all that amazing. And I think them losing to Pai is also a big blow. And so I am going to go with Porto to prevail, just about. This will be very close, though. I don't think this will be... I think this could be very like a 1-goal margin. I can see somewhat of that kind of thing. Okay? So, yeah. And you guys look at the head-to-head records. Actually, quite even. You have Porto 1 win, 1 draw, 1 win for Lyon. And the most recent meeting between the two teams have been Porto winning 5-3 against Lyon. But keep in mind, guys, this is a friendly. So they have never played a competitive game against each other. We move on to the next one. We have Real Betis versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, for me, I think it's a very interesting one. I want to see how Pellegrini can do with Real Betis in the UEFA Europa League because Real Betis have had one of the best seasons in their club history. They just reached the Copa del Rey final. They're now in the top 4 of La Liga, and they're in the Europa League round of 16. It's been amazing stuff for them. And this could turn out to be one of the best seasons in their history, And as for Eintracht Frankfurt, for me, this is a decent team. They're doing decent in their own league, as you guys can see right here. In the Bundesliga, they're actually around like mid-table 10th, which is kind of disappointing for them. I kind of expect more from them because in last season, they were in a great position to get top 4. But I believe they lost to Schalke, which basically destroyed their hopes of getting top 4, basically, with that game. And I believe Dortmund jumped ahead of them, and they ultimately took 3rd spot, which Wolfsburg eventually got 4th, I believe. So for me, Eintracht Frankfurt this season, they've just been okay. You guys can see their team is very much decent. You look at the players they have. You got Kevin Trapp, who's a very good goalkeeper. You have Hasebe, who's a decent defender. Indika as well, Hechenje. Then you have some quality players in midfield like Kostic, who's a very good player, really great Kostic. I think he's one of their best. So Debel Josso, Kamada, Eric Dorm. Then you have Denny Da Costa, and then Palencia, Pancia, Lammers, Rafael Santos. Now, the thing about this Frankfurt team for me is just they've been very, very much, their goals have been very much dry. I feel like for me, they have a hard time scoring goals, and that's a big problem for them. Is that I just think that for me, this is a very difficult team to really score goals a lot for them. And but believe it or not, guys, I actually did a Eintracht Frankfurt series on my Twitch channel and on my YouTube channel, which I actually did a queer mode about them, so you guys can check it out. It was the FIFA 21 edition, though, so not this edition, obviously. But still, it was very, very amazing. It was a great journey indeed, and it was really fun, man. Really, really fun. Really great series. So as for Real Betis, I think they've been absolutely brilliant. As I said, guys, they got some great players. Juanmi comes to mind, who's been very, very good this season. You know, you obviously have Claudio Bravo, who's a very good goalkeeper. You know about him. Victor Ruiz, Alex Moreno, Juan Miranda. And then you even have like players like Hector Bellerin, who's still performing for them, which is impressive. They have Kike Hermoso, William Carvalho, Guido Rodriguez, Guardado, Fakir, Canales, Teo, Diego Lainez, Juan Jose, Borja Iglesias, Yasin Fakir, Wadri. And so, guys, I think I'm going to go with Real Betis. For me, they look more solid of a team. I've been more impressed with them. Eintracht Frankfurt, they've been kind of iffing there. They've been okay. But I just think that for me, Real Betis are the overall better team. And I do believe Real Betis will prevail in this one to make it to the quarterfinals. You guys can see the last head-to-head was actually Eintracht Frankfurt beating them 3-0 in a club friendly. Although that was in 2017, and a lot has changed since then, as we all know. So, let's move on over to the next one. And we're going to finally start the Thursday games now. We have Sevilla versus West Ham. One of the games of the Europa League. This, for me, guys, is going to be a huge game. I'm going to be really looking forward to this game. And this is a game that I just think that, for me, could mean a lot. And this is, when I was saying my Europa League, I was saying to people that I think this could potentially be a final. I think this one had the potential to be a final, but already, guys, this will not be the final. This will not be the final. And that's the craziness, is that this kind of fixture is you would think this would be a final because of how good the two teams are. Sevilla this season, they've been having one of their best seasons in the league. They've been absolutely superb. Right now, second in the league, 55 points, battling with Real Madrid, for the title. And look at the squad that they have some great players. Obviously you have Bono, who's a very good goalkeeper. Then Jesus Navas, Acuna, Kunde, then Diego Carlos, and then you have Montiel. Then you obviously have Fernando, Oliver Torres, Goodich, Rakitic, Delaney, Lamela, Ocampos, Mir, Jesus Crota, Anthony Martial, and Naziri, Munir. I mean, it's Alejandro Papagomez. I mean, the talent quality of this team is superb. And I just think that for me, Lopetegui's done a fantastic job with this team. My issue with Sevilla, though, is that they cannot score goals on a regular basis, and I feel like for them, there's not like a consistent goal score. I think that's one of the problems for Sevilla, is that while they do play very well, they have a very difficult time scoring the sufficient number of goals. Look at the last 5 games, right? Sevilla failed to score against Alves. They failed to score against Dinamo Zagreb. They only scored 1 against Espanyol, and they just been, for me, been very inconsistent. And that's been worrying, is that if you really think about it, Sevilla should actually have accumulated 4 more points. And you guys can see, had they had accumulated 4 more points, they could have actually been neck and neck with Real Madrid. It's just the draws have been killing them, guys. The draws have been killing them indeed. And that's been the huge issue for them. Is that you even look at teams like Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, they outscored them, even Real Betis. And so, like I said, I just think for me it's going to be important that they can make sure they can score goals. As for West Ham this season have been absolutely fantastic. David Moyes has done a fantastic job with this team. And I just think that for me, this will be very interesting to see how much West Ham really care about this. Because for me, I was saying that maybe West Ham could win the Europa League and forget top 4. But I think at this point, it's going to be very difficult for them because, you look at the players. You got Bowen that comes to mind, Antonio, Fornals. Then you have Benrahma, Vlasic, Lanzini, Kral, Declan Rice, Suchek. And the defense, you have a lot of key players injured. So Ogbano's injured, Fedric's injured, Mazuku's injured, Zuma. Then you have Jonan, Diop. It's a very good team. Then you have Ariola, Fabianski as well. It's a very good team. And I'm looking at West Ham in particular, guys. I'm looking at what they've been doing this season. They've been absolutely fantastic. Now, my issue for West Ham is this. Will this be too much on them? Can they handle both the Europa League and the top 4? Because they know that this will be a historic season. I would love for them to win the Europa League. But for me, the issue with West Ham is that they're going up against a Sevilla team that just love this competition. Sevilla crave this competition, guys. Put it this way. Sevilla, this is their competition. Sevilla love this competition. They should rename this called the Sevilla League. I mean, that's how dominant they are in this competition. And for me, it's going to be very difficult for them to topple over them. And despite the second leg being at home, which we could argue has been a good advantage, I still don't know if that would be enough. Because, like I said, I just think that for me, West Ham, it's going to be difficult because you look at the games coming up before then, right? They have the Liverpool game. That's going to be very difficult. And then they have the Aston Villa game. Two games are not going to be very easy indeed. Whereas for Sevilla, on the other hand, their fixture's a bit more kind. They have Rayo Vallecano. That's not too bad. And Real Sociedad. Now Real Sociedad could be tricky. But the thing is, that's going to take place after the game. So really, the Rayo Vallecano game is really the one to look out for. But then again, they did drop points to Alaves at home. So it's a very difficult one. I think this one could go either way, but I'm still going to pick Sevilla just because, like I said, I feel like they have a lot of pedigree in this competition. And I feel like the experience of Sevilla will prevail them through. But this will be tight. I think this could go either way. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to extra time, maybe in penalties. But I am going to still say Sevilla should prevail from this one, though. But man, I would love if West Ham could do it. Love if they can do it. Moving on to the next one, we've got Atalanta versus Bayer Leverkusen, guys. One of the best matchups in the round of 16. And this is the matchup that I think will be high scoring. There's going to be a lot of goals in this one, guys. Let me just put it this way. There's going to be a lot of goals. Both teams love to score goals, guys. They're absolutely goal-fest machines. And I just think that for me, Atalanta in particular, it's going to be interesting to see how they do this season because this has probably been one of the most disappointing seasons in a while for them. You look at the table right now, they're actually fifth right now, 47 points. Game in hand, though, over Juventus. But still, they've been very inconsistent. You look at the draws they had this season, 8 draws, and then the losses as well. And, I'm looking at this team, right, the squad that they have. I think Gasperini's done a fantastic job. But, you look at Musso in particular, Palomino, Demiral, Derun, Demayo, Ilicic, Zapata. And I think these two players could be huge blows because let me just put it this way, guys. If Zapata Ilicic is not fit to play over the two legs, it's going to be very difficult for them to triumph. Now, I know they still have Muriel, who's still good, Miranchuk as well, who's still decent, and it's going to be interesting to see how Atalanta do in this one, whereas Leverkusen have had a brilliant season, guys. In the Bundesliga, they've been absolutely superb. They're third right now in the league. They've been amazing. They scored 63 goals. They're just one short of Dortmund, and they've just been absolute goal scoring. I mean, they have the third best offense in the league. Whereas you look at Atalanta, they don't really have. Even Milan scored more than them. Even teams like Hellas Verona have scored more than them. That is a bit concerning. When I look at this Leverkusen team in particular, they have some great players. Obviously look at the goalkeeper Zeki, a very solid goalkeeper. Then Jonathan Tah was a very good defender. Edmund Tapsoba, Bakker as well, decent player indeed. Then you have Aranguiz, Palacios, and you have Lucas Alario, Patrick Schick, Bellarabi, Paulinho, the Azmoun, a good transfer made from Zenit, Musa Diaby, Ahmadadia, Florian Words, Demerby, Palacios, as I said. It's a very good team, guys. It's a very good team. It's a tough one to call. It's a very tricky one to call. But I do think Bayer Leverkusen will prevail this one just because I've been more impressed with Bayer Leverkusen been doing this season. And I feel like for me, the injuries of Zapata and Ilicic, I feel like could really hurt them. And even though they're not going to have Bellarabi or Schick, the two may not play. I still think that they can do the job. Florian Wirtz for me, I think will rise to the challenge. And I just think that for me, guys, Leverkusen will prevail. This will be very close though. Like I said, this will be very high scoring. I wouldn't be surprised with that. And I just think that for me, they'll just do it. I've just been really impressed with Leverkusen this season. They've been absolutely fantastic. Moving on, we have Braga versus Monaco. We have the penultimate game. This is a very interesting one. Braga, they prevailed on penalties against Sheriff, and you guys can see in the recent form, they've actually been very interesting, decent here. And even though this Braga team, in my opinion, don't really have any standout players, like any players that are an amazing, world class or anything like that, they still do have a very decent team. They still have some decent players that could come to mind, that could come to fruition. And the thing about this is that in football is that it's not just about having quality players. It's about playing well as a team. And they still have some great players. Rodrigo Gomez, Ricardo Horta, Abel Ruiz, these kind of players. And I think they can step up. They can step up to the challenge. Whereas for Monaco, they've been absolutely fantastic. Monaco, for me, they have a very good team, but they've been underwhelming this season. You look at their position right now in the league. They're 10th in the table, guys. This is very disappointing. And they even sacked Niko Kovac, if I'm not mistaken, guys. They've been very disappointed this season. And they have some great players in this team. Ben Yedder, Volland, Martins, Boadu, and they've just been really underwhelming this season. Fofana, barring Fabregas, Lucas, Golovin, you know, they've just been very underwhelming this season. And I just think that for me, the problem is that they've just been super inconsistent. And I feel like this Monaco team, they have enough players. I think for me, they are the better team than Braga, you know. And so I'm going to pick Monaco to prevail. But let me put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised to see Braga make it through because Monaco have just been very inconsistent this season. Very inconsistent. And I think at the very best, Monaco should make it through, but you never know with football. There can be an upset on this one. I wouldn't be surprised. But I am going to go with Monaco to prevail. I just think for me, they have an overall way better team. And as for Braga, I just don't really think they have that great of a team. So we'll see, though, how this one pans out because, like I said, this one could be very interesting. And then finally, we move on to the final fixture. And by the way, the last time the two teams met, it was a 0-0 draw. 2019. And then finally, we have the last one. This is perhaps the most difficult to call, guys. We got Rangers versus Crvena Zvezda. Rangers, for me, have been absolutely brilliant, guys. What they've been doing was impressive. And you look at that game that they played against Dortmund. They absolutely smashed Dortmund. Absolutely did. And you got to give them a ton of credit, man. You got to give them a ton of credit for what they did. Alan McGregor. You look at players like Joe Aribo, Royf, Haste, right, Ryan Kent, Sakala, Diallo, Morales, Laurie. It's a very good team, guys. It's a good team that they have here. James Sands as well, Leon King, and I just think that for me, guys, it's a very difficult one to call because Crvena Zvezda, guys, we know how difficult it is to play in Serbia. It is not very easy, and they're in a very heated title race in their own league, and so it's going to be interesting to see how much they emphasize on that. You look at the squad that they have. They've got some players, obviously. Borjan, one of the best players the Canadian men's national team. Then you have Rodic as well, Piccini, Diano, Bakayoko. It's a very interesting one, guys. It's a very interesting one. Guys, this is where I'm going to go and upset. Guys, I know the normal gut should be to pick the Rangers, and I think they are the better team. But I think the fact that Crvena Zvezda will play at home the second leg, I think will give them a huge advantage, and it's very difficult to play in Serbia. So I am going to go with Crvena Zvezda for this one. But let me just put it this way, guys. I'm not confident whatsoever. I am not confident whatsoever. Because I think Rangers could also do it too. But, I got to pick one upset, right? So this is the one I'm going to go for. So that's it for today, guys. My UEFA Europa League predictions, guys. Like I said, guys, I will be doing another video for Barca versus Galatasaray. I hope you guys do enjoy that. So make sure you guys check out my plus in the description below, my Twitter, Discord, email, and Twitch. And if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your thoughts. Like this video as well if you did enjoy. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.